just go ahead and introduce yourself to the court first.
My name is Brianna Skermahorn.
And will you go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know with regards to the sentencing of Colt Gray?
I'm the mother of Mason Alexander Skermahorn. Although Mason is no longer here physically, I'm continuing to learn from him. Mason was so much more than a victim. He was a son, brother, grandson, and friend. He was deeply loved. Mason was kind, compassionate, funny, and fiercely protective of others. As a child with exceptional needs, he understood what it felt like to struggle and be overlooked by others. Instead of becoming bitter, he became an advocate, not only for himself, but also for his friends. He made people that were typically unseen feel seen, accepted, and safe. Mason even became friends with children who started out as his bullies. I had no doubt in my mind if Colt had actually attended school as he should have, that Mason would have befriended him. That is a legacy that he should be remembered for. As much as I have felt that I needed to hold on to the hate that I have felt, I know that I can't. Not only for my own health, but how can I say love like Mason and hold on to that? So I'm choosing to continue to learn from Mason and honor his legacy. I want it to be very clear that I do not forgive Mr. Gray. However, I can acknowledge that there are two truths that can exist at the same time. The first is that the adults in that young man's life failed him. The people who should have protected, guided, recognized the warning signs, and intervened when it mattered the most did not do what they should have done. They failed to give him the support, boundaries, and accountability that every child needs and deserves. That failure is real, and it is tragic. I can acknowledge that he was failed without excusing what he did. I can have the compassion for the child that he once was while holding him fully accountable for the choices that he made as a young man. And those things are not mutually exclusive. There's another truth that cannot be ignored. He knew the difference between right and wrong. He knew that bringing a weapon into a school was wrong. He knew that pulling that trigger was wrong. He knew that every choice he made that day would forever alter countless lives. The failures of the adults around him may explain parts of his story, but they do not excuse the decisions that he made. Those decisions were his and his alone, and because of those decisions, my Macy Mace is gone. My family, both biological and chosen, have been forced to endure horrors that no family should ever experience. A member of our family that has been an integral part of our village was who had to identify Mason in the school that day. That is an image that he will carry the rest of his life. He and another family member were in the room when we were told that Mason was gone. I can still remember the silence and the confirming nods by my family when I looked to them in utter disbelief, wishing it was untrue, and the heartbreak on my other children's faces. In that moment, our lives split into two parts, before September 4th and after. In one sentence, our future was stolen. Since Mason's death, I've had the privilege of spending a lot of time with the Angulo family and some of the victims, or I should say, I don't want to say victim survivors. While each of our experiences are different, we are forever connected by the trauma that his choices caused. I have witnessed incredible strength, resilience, and courage in people who were never asked to carry this burden. None of us should know one another because of a school shooting. Yet here we are showing up, loving one another, and trying to rebuild lives that will never be the same. Colt didn't just take Mason's life that day. He took every birthday we would have celebrated, every holiday, every graduation, every milestone, every hug, every conversation, and every dream that he should have had the chance to live. Mason deserved to grow up. He deserved the chance to continue advocating for those that needed a voice. He deserved to become the man, husband, and dad that he was meant to be. Mason deserved a future, and we all deserved a future with Mason in it. And Colt took that from Mason and everyone who loved him. I hope that one day he truly understands the weight of what he chose to do, not because it will bring our loved ones back or erase the damage that he caused, because nothing ever will, but because genuine remorse begins when excuses end. Every morning I wake up to the reality that my son is gone. Every night I go to bed knowing that there is nothing I can do to change it. I have lived 688 days so far of a sentence with no parole, and that is what he should receive as well. Thank you.
We will next have Alana Skirmelhorn, Mason's sister.
Did you have any questions, Mr. Allen?
Not about him, Mr. Mayor.
All right, if I forget, you just speak up if you have any questions.
Okay, when you decide you need to change it, that's okay. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God? Yes. Okay. Go ahead and speak into the microphone and introduce yourself to the court.
My name's Alana Skirmelhorn Wallace.
And can you tell the court what you would like him to know in the sentencing of the state of Georgia versus Colt Gray?
Before I talk about what was taken from me, I want to talk about who Mason was. To the court, he may be known as one of the victims of September 4th, but to me, he was my little brother. Out of all my siblings, Mason and I were the closest in age, and because of that, I felt that we shared a bond unlike any other. We grew up together, we understood each other in ways that's hard to explain. He wasn't just my brother, but he's one of my best friends. Some of my favorite memories are simple ones. We spent countless hours playing video games together, whether it was Roblox, Minecraft, Genshin Impact, or whatever game we were obsessed with at the time. We always found a way to have fun together. If one of us couldn't beat a level, complete a quest, or figure something out, then we would jump in and help. We celebrated each other's victories, laughed at our mistakes, and never hesitated to help each other out. Looking back now, I realize the ordinary moments became some of the most meaningful moments I have. Mason had one of the brightest souls I've ever known. He saw the good in people, even when they couldn't see it in themselves. He coached kindness over anger. He believed people deserve second chances. Even the people who bullied him, they eventually became his friends because that's just who Mason was. He didn't hold on to hate. He had a way of bringing out the good in others. He never judged people for their disabilities, the way they looked, where they came from, or anything that made them different. He accepted everyone exactly how they were. He treated everyone with the same kindness and respect because that's how he lived. Even during difficult times, Mason seemed to find some light. He had a way of making people smile, making situations feel less heavy, and reminding people around him that things would be okay. That is the person who's taken from us on that day. Not just the name in the courtroom, not just another victim in a headline, a little brother, a best friend, a great, compassionate, and genuinely good person who deserved the chance to keep growing into the incredible man he would have been today. September 4th, 2024 started like any other Wednesday. I actually woke up a little later than usual that morning. Mason and I went to different high schools, so by the time I got out of bed, he had already left for school. I never got to see him that morning or say goodbye like I normally did, which didn't seem like a big deal at the time. Around 10:52 that morning, everything changed. I was a student helper in one of the band classes helping a group of freshmen in a separate practice room when I got a text from my mom saying, "Are you okay? What's going on?" I didn't understand what she meant at the moment, so I ignored it, and I kept helping the students. And then, not even a minute later, someone came into the room and said we were going into lockdown. Rumors started spreading almost immediately. Students were shouting things out that they saw online, shooting at Apalachee. There are 5 shooters. Nobody knew what was true, what wasn't. We didn't know how serious it was. We didn't know if the danger was over. We didn't know if anyone had been hurt. We just waited. As the minutes passed, several of the freshmen came up to me because they were scared. They'd heard the attack mainly involved freshmen, and they were worried about their friends at Apalachee. I don't remember every conversation, but I remember one perfectly. One of the students looked at me, and he said that he was scared for his friends. I didn't know students and teachers. He said he was scared for his friends. Trying to confront him, I told him the chances of anyone in this room being directly affected are slim to none. And I believed it when I said it. At that point, I didn't know there were confirmed deaths. I didn't know students and teachers had been shot. I didn't know people were fighting for their lives in hospitals, also trying to calm a frightened freshman who was terrified about people who he cared about. Around that same time, my mom texted me again, "I can't get a hold of your brother on the phone." Even then, I wasn't worried. I told myself Mason probably left his phone in the classroom, in his book bag. I never imagined there would be another reason that he wasn't answering. As the day went on, the room became quieter. The panic settled into silence as people played games while we waited to go home. During this time, my phone never stopped vibrating. Family members, friends, coworkers, everyone kept asking me the same question: has anyone found Mason? But no one could give an answer. At that point, someone from my work group chat sent a video of students being evacuated from Apalachee. And in the background, there's a body covered in the hallway that I later found out was Mason. That was the moment I realized this wasn't just another school lockdown. This was real, and I wanted nothing more to go home. Around 3:13 p.m., 2 minutes before the bell rang, I opened social media just to pass the time while we waited to be dismissed. Instead, I saw my sister's post saying that Mason did not make it out of the school alive that day. September 4th was not just the day I lost my brother. It was the day I lost the life that I knew before. It was the day my sense of safety, my ability to see the world the same, and the future I imagined with Mason in it were taken from me. The hardest part is that the world kept moving after that day. People went back to school. People went back to work. People continued their normal lives, but my family didn't get to. We didn't get to learn how to live in a world where Mason no longer existed. This experience has changed the way that I have seen safety. Before September 4th, I believed that something like this could never happen to me or someone I loved. Schools where I went to learn, see friends, and make memories, but then it happened to Mason. Now every time I walk into a school building, a thought immediately crosses my mind. If it can happen to my brother, then why can't it happen to me? The question is something I never had to ask myself before September 4th. When I find myself looking for exits when I enter buildings, I pay attention to the people around me. If someone is walking behind me in a hallway or a staircase, I feel myself wanting to move away or get somewhere safer. Loud noises, unexpected sounds, and certain situations can bring me back to the fear and uncertainty of that day. It's not because I think every place is dangerous. It's because I know that the place where I once felt the safest was the place where I lost my brother. I used to walk into school believing I would leave the same way I came in. Now part of me is always wondering if I will. The impact of this day did not only change the way I felt when I walked into the school building, it also changed the way I was able to function as a student. After losing Mason, I was trying to balance two realities at the same time. I was expected to be a full-time student in college, completing assignments and preparing for my future while also trying to grieve and process everything that had happened. During this time, I had to miss a lot of school because of court proceedings and everything that came with seeking justice for Mason. I wasn't missing classes because I didn't care about my education. I was missing them because I was dealing with something no student should ever have to experience. And what hurt was that I had to provide proof of what happened in order for my situation to be understood. I had to provide my brother's death certificate to my school for my absences to be excused. Having to prove my grief was another painful reminder of what happened. I wasn't asking for special treatment. I was asking for understanding. Being in court for college trial, wasn't just difficult because I had to hear what happened, but it was also difficult because I saw things I shouldn't have. Throughout the case, I was exposed to multiple photographs, evidence, and video from the shooting. The close-ups of the bodies, the autopsy reports, and even the video of my brother's final moments. This isn't something that I can just forget. I replayed the video in my head all the time. I replay the video in my head all the time. The way you shot my brother twice. You saw him scared and running. And then you proceeded to shoot him in the head, killing him instantly. You saw how scared he was. You saw how he was trying to run. But all you cared about was murdering innocent people. All you cared about was murdering innocent people because you want to be like your twisted-minded idol. But of course, the twisted-minded stuff doesn't end there. Because of the people on social media purposely finding my accounts, my videos talking about my brother, saying that he should have dodged the bullet or that he deserved what happened to him. I want you to understand something. What you did not end on September 4th, 2024. You may have pulled the trigger that day, but the pain you have caused has continued every single day since. You didn't just take my little brother from me. You took away him from my parents, my siblings, his classmates, his teachers, and everyone who loved him. You took away a future that Mason deserved to have, and I'm angry that you did that. I'm angry that I had to sit in the classroom comforting scared freshmen while not knowing you had already ended my brother's life. I'm angry that I had to walk into my own home knowing Mason would never walk through that door again. I'm angry that I had to see evidence from the worst day of my life and carry memories that nobody should ever have. I'm angry because none of this should ever happen. But I'm also angry at how cowardly you are. You sat there and you planned everything that you were going to do that day. You sat there and wrote down the amount of fatalities you wanted. You made sure that you packed everything that morning so you'd be ready. And then you sat in that stall preparing for what you were about to do. Instead of going through with this plan, I honestly think he should have killed himself. Instead of killing 4 people and injuring others, he should have taken himself out. Instead of coming up with this whole elaborate plan, he should have made a plan to off himself instead. I'm not saying this just because he took Mason from me. I'm saying this because if he had this sick and evil thought to be like that other worthless school shooter and inflict pain on a whole community, he doesn't deserve to be here. You had time before you left school that morning to change your mind. You had time in your first period class to change your mind. You had time while you were in that bathroom to change your mind, but you didn't. Instead, you went through with your plan. And not only that, but as soon as you were caught, you surrendered. You can willingly shoot all these people. It didn't feel an ounce of remorse, but as soon as a gun is pointed towards you, you get scared because you're the definition of a coward. You didn't feel remorse after shooting into that classroom. You didn't feel remorse after you shot those teachers, and you definitely didn't feel remorse after you shot my brother in the head. You didn't feel remorse after you watched my brother collapse and bleed out in front of you. He should have killed himself. Because him being gone would have saved this whole community from experiencing the unimaginable, and then maybe his life would have actually meant something. You will always be remembered as a coward, a psychopath, a freak, because of what you decided to do. But the victims, Christina Irmi, Richard Aspinwall, Christian Angulo, and Mason Skirmerhorn, will be remembered because of the people they were. They will be remembered because of their kindness and positivity they added to the world. They deserve to be here today. Mason deserves to be here today. Mason was kind when he didn't have to be. He saw the good in people when others didn't. He turned people who hurt him into friends. He never judged anyone for how they looked, what challenges they faced, or what made them different. You took away someone who chose kindness every day. You took away someone who still had so much life ahead of him. You took away the chance for me to see who my little brother would become. And that is something I can never get back. You will soon face the consequences of what you did, but my family will spend the rest of our lives facing the consequences of what you took from us. The difference is that you made a choice that day, but we did not choose this.
Mr. Allen, do you have any questions?
No. Judge Mulvey,
Yes. Go ahead.
Yes, Your Honor. Liliana Ahmed is another sister of Mason. And if you could raise your right hand. You swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Okay. And if you could just introduce yourself to the court.
My name is Liliana Ahmed. I am the oldest sister of Mason Sturmerhorn.
And you can go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know in regards to the sentencing of Colt Gray.
September 24th, 2024 is the day that altered my life in more days than I can think possible. That day is unfortunately a day that is branded into my brain. It was a Wednesday. I was at work. It was a normal day. Started off good even. At 11:25 a.m., I got a text message from one of my close friends asking if I heard about the school shooting at Apalachee. I instantly thought this was a joke or a false alarm. Nothing like this is supposed to happen in Winder. I graduated from Apalachee when the school body was barely 1,200 kids. We always poked fun about how boring and rural our school was. There was no way this could be real. My first instinct was to call my mom. I thought surely if Mason was scared, he already called my mom and told her he was fine. Of course, it's no surprise to you that Mason was not okay. I lost it. I had my first ever panic attack. I stayed at work fighting the thought that my brother was dead. There's no way that this could happen to me. By 2 p.m., there was still no update on Mason. No one could find him. I felt hopeless, so I posted a picture on social media begging people to message me if they saw him. He used to run away when he got really emotionally overwhelmed. And I was praying that this was still true in this instance. Praying that he was scared and hiding somewhere. From my car, I frantically called every single emergency room in Atlanta, Gwinnett, Barrow, and Clark Oconee counties to see if anyone had a John Doe that fit his description. No success. At this point, I was at home because I was holding out hope that Mason was okay. My mom even asked me, when we find Mason, can we have a sleepover? Mason had to be okay. I will never forget the exact moment I found out Mason was dead. The exact moment that I found out you killed him. The hour-long drive to Winder was the quietest car ride I have ever had with my husband. The only thing I could manage to mutter was my baby brother, over and over again, like my brain was rejecting the thought of him being gone. We arrived at my parents' house, a place that used to hold nothing more than laughs, happy memories, and petty sibling arguments. Turned into a place that sends my nervous system into absolute disarray. From that point to about 6 months following, everything is a blur. As you can imagine, I have had a lot of time to reflect on how the past 688 days have impacted my life. Since I was 7, almost 8 years old, a large part of my identity has been being a big sister. I am the oldest of 4, and there's a significant age gap between me and my siblings. Being the oldest sibling and oldest daughter has shaped me in more ways than I can express, especially being a big sister to siblings with special needs. One of the ways that has shaped me has been my ability to look beyond a person's behaviors and search for the why. There's always so much more to a person's actions besides what we see at face value. This ability has led me to be naturally forgiving and compassionate. I've even dedicated my professional career to this ability my siblings have fostered in me. Whenever I come across a child that is met with any circumstance out of their control, whether it be a diagnosis or environment, I can't help but feel compassion. Admittedly, I feel compassion for Colt, and I hate that. He is a product of 2 people that did not deserve the privilege of bringing life into this world. His actions are a testament to that. He's broken. He made so many cries for help that were met with little to no action. He grew up around so much turmoil. He saw and experienced things that no child should even be able to imagine. He could have rebounded from all that. Instead, he decided to allow my baby brother to pay for the pain others caused him. He still had the ability to be resilient, but he chose to doom himself. He is ultimately a failure. Despite the little bit of compassion I do feel for him, being in the same room as him disgusts me. I know much is not known about Mason, so I would like to take some time to tell you all about him. Mason is a success story that Colt could have been. He struggled a lot in school. He had big emotions that he didn't know how to regulate. He was bullied. He had a cocktail of mental diagnoses from a young age. He had the ability to turn into Colt, but he didn't. He even spent the summer before his freshman year of high school being tutored through algebra because he was that determined to succeed. Teachers and students across all the schools Mason went to talk about how big of a heart he has, how he is so sweet, the kind of sweetness you don't expect from a 14-year-old boy. He spent most of his school years in more contained classrooms, but he had friends in special education and general education classes. He didn't care what someone looked like, what disability they did or didn't have. He was going to be friends with them, and he could have been he was friend to so many, and he could have been friend to one more had Colt not robbed himself of that. Mason would have loved him. My mom would have taken him in. My family's house could have been a haven for him, but he robbed himself of that. Not only did he rob himself of Mason, or rob himself of that experience, but he also robbed Mason. From a very young age, Mason wanted to be a family man. He wanted to have a wife, kids. He wanted to go to school and pursue a career. He even asked questions about God. All of these different parts of himself he didn't get to explore because of Colt, because of his pain. Because of him, my little brother Gavin has to grow up without his best friend. Because of him, my little sister Alana has to grow up without her best friend. Because of him, my mom has to live with 1/4 of her missing. Because of him, I have to live without the little boy that gave me so much purpose from such a young age. Because of him, laughing or having a good day feels like betrayal, because I feel like I shouldn't experience those things with my brother gone. Because of him, I get a pit in my stomach anytime I look at pictures of Mason. Because I know that's the only way I can see him now. And because of him, large crowds and gatherings make me anxious. And because of him, I'm forced to write in a journal when I want to talk to Mason because I don't want to miss any details for when I see him again. Because of him, my brother died alone and scared. He was the last person to see Mason alive, and you took him from us. All of this because people hurt him, and he felt like others needed to atone for it. All for what? Just to become another statistic. He has quite literally reduced his life to his failures and shortcomings. He could have made something of himself. He could have had a friend in Mason to lift him up. Instead, he made himself nothing more than another data point. I hope he lives with that for the rest of his life. I hope he remembers that he is insignificant. Despite him stealing the lives and innocence of so many people, their endings and this pain he caused will not define them. They will define him, however, and he will be forgotten. I hope he remembers that he did this to himself. I hope he remembers that any regret or remorse he feels is a privilege compared to the death sentence he gave my brother. I don't care what his sentence is, and I don't care what happens to him. It won't measure up to the sentence he gave my family. He stole my baby brother from me, and I don't forgive him. I hope the rest of his days are filled with remembering just how much of a waste he is.
Next we have Shayna Aspinwall, Richard Aspinwall's wife. Can you please raise your right hand? Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes, ma'am.
And go ahead and introduce yourself to the court and then tell him what you would like him to know in the sentencing of Mr. Colt Gray.
My name is Shayna Aspinwall. I am the wife of Ricky Aspinwall, who was murdered in the Apalachee High School shooting on September 4th.
You can go ahead.
Okay. No words can fully express what was taken from me and our family and everyone who loved my husband. On the morning of September 4th, he left for work. We expected him to come home, just as he always had, and said our lives were changed forever. My husband was more than a victim. He was my partner, my best friend, and the person I planned to grow old with. He was a loving husband, a devoted father, a teacher, a coach, an uncle, a son, a brother, and a friend. He brought kindness, laughter, and strength into our lives, and his absence is felt every single day. The grief of losing him is constant. There is an empty chair at our table, silence where his voice used to be, and countless moments when I instinctively reach for him only to remember he's gone. Every holiday, birthday, anniversary, and ordinary day is a reminder of what has been stolen from us. Our family has had to face not only overwhelming emotional pain, but also the practical realities of moving forward without him. The future we planned together no longer exists. The dreams we shared ended the moment his life was taken. Now, our daughters, who were 5 and 2 at the time, must grow up without their father. They will miss his guidance, his encouragement, his hugs, and all the milestones he should have been here to witness. Birthdays, graduations, weddings, and the everyday moments that make up a lifetime will forever be marked by his absence. No sentence the court imposes can bring my husband back. Nothing can restore the life he should have lived or the years he should have shared. But I ask the court to recognize the profound and permanent harm this crime has caused. The loss extends far beyond one day. It is a life sentence of grief and trauma for those left behind. I ask that Ricky's killer is not given an opportunity for parole. The trauma it would continue to bring me and my daughters, knowing that there is a chance, even a small chance, that he would get out of prison, would be continued torture for my family. We have already been through enough without having more fear in the back of our minds. Once I die, my daughters will then have to suffer through parole hearings alone. I think that everyone would agree that facing it alone is a burden that they should never have to bear. In closing, I hope my husband's life is remembered not for the violence that ended it, but for the love, compassion, and dedication he showed to his family, his students, and colleagues, and everyone fortunate enough to know him. That is certainly what his family and friends remember about him. And until I take my last breath on this earth, I will always remind my daughters of what a special person he was.
Thank you.
Thank you.
All right. Next, we have Ismail Angulo Jr. He is Christian's brother. Go ahead and raise your hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God?
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the court, and then you can go ahead and tell
My name
them.
is Ismail Angulo Jr. I am the oldest sibling of Christian. Your Honor, I am writing this statement to share the devastating reality of what was taken from my family and to ask this court to deliver the absolute maximum sentence allowed by law. The impact my brother's loss continues to have on my family is something I wish on no one. Every day is a nightmare that we have to wake up to remind ourselves of our new reality. A very painful one. The days my nephew comes up to me and tells me he misses Titian breaks my heart. I have no words that I can tell him, so I just hug him tight. My little brother Christian Gabriel Angulo was only 14 years old. He was the best uncle, the best brother anyone could have asked for, and a great son to my parents. The defendant's family will still get to see their son, talk to him, and know he is breathing. My mother, my father don't get that privilege. The only way to visit Christian now is by standing over his grave. There is no fairness in that reality. Christian was a beautiful, innocent soul who was robbed of his dreams and has so much ahead of him. Because of this defendant's choices, Christian will never get another chance at a life. I carry so much pain from that day, knowing that this coward's violent acts shattered thousands of lives in a single instant. I know the death penalty is off the table because of the defendant's age, but if his age is being considered, I want to ask, does Mason Skimmerhorn get a second chance when he was only 14 years old, robbed of his dreams, stolen far too soon, before he even had a chance to grow up? Does Coach Richard Aspinwall get a second chance to be with his wife and be a father to his young daughters? Or will he miss the rest of their lives because this coward took his life? Does Miss Christina Ermey get another opportunity to live, teach, and be with her husband? Do all 9 of the people who were injured that day get to live without the physical and emotional scars forced upon them? Does my little brother Christian get another chance to live another day? No, they don't. They will never get to experience the beautiful or painful moments that life has to offer because this defendant deliberately took those chances away from them. The defendant showed no mercy when he stole their futures, and therefore he should not receive the grace of a second chance. While the law spares him from the ultimate penalty due to his age, it does not require this court to ever grant him freedom again. For Christian, for Mason, for Coach Aspinwall, for Ms. Ermey, and for every person injured and broken by his actions, I ask that you sentence this defendant to life in prison without the possibility of parole and ensure he never has the opportunity to walk free or inflict this unbearable pain on another family ever again. Thank you, Your Honor, for hearing my voice and honoring the memory of my brother. Forever my brother, long live Christian. Thank you.
Do you have questions, Mr. Allen?
No.
And, Your Honor, I believe the next several are going to be juveniles, so just for the court.
Thank you. Hi, my name is Natalie Griffith. On September 4th, I got shot twice, once in my wrist and once in my upper arm. I lost the ability to use my left hand, but on some days it doesn't feel like that is the biggest thing that I lost. The morning of the shooting felt normal. I got on the bus and sat alone because my friend Lorelai wasn't... Sorry. The morning of the shooting felt normal. I got on the bus and sat alone because my friend and Lorelai wasn't on the bus. I was cold because I forgot my jacket and I was wearing one of the new t-shirts I got for my birthday. I was listening to a song called ADHD and thinking about how we were going to start a new unit in algebra. I never thought for a second that there would be a shooting. Then there was one. Ms. Ryan was about to give instructions. I think we were about to break into small groups when I heard a banging and thought it was a fight. Never once did I think that it was a gun or a bullet. I never thought something like that would happen here. Those things happen in places where the sun doesn't shine as bright. Now, whenever I hear loud sounds, a door slamming, a book dropping, or people crowding and talking in another room, my mind immediately goes to the worst possible scenario. I wonder if there's a gun. I wonder if I need to run. I'm so very afraid of loud sounds, and I start to panic when I hear them. Some days when I think about the shooting, it feels like he killed me, even though I lived. The part of me that trusted people died, and I lost myself before the shooting. My smile was different. I did not think about danger the way I do now. I did not constantly think about my surroundings. I think about the shooting every day of my life. I wonder when
I will stop thinking about it every day, and then, just like that, I've lost again. I wonder how different my life would be if that one moment had never happened. I wonder whether the person I am today is the person I would have become if the shooting had never occurred. After the shooting, I felt like my independence was taken away for a while. I could not put on my own clothes by myself or do my own hair. Things that used to be easy for me were now impossible challenges. Even now, whenever I try to tie my shoes, it's never quite right. To this day, I cannot type normally, which has impacted my ability to be as successful in school as I want to be. I cannot hold many things because I lost the use of an opposable thumb. The recovery process has been long and difficult. I had to undergo 2 different surgeries, attend physical therapy twice a week for the first year, and then once a week after that. Tasks that should be simple remain difficult. But the physical injuries are only part of what I lost. When everyone went back to school, I went back too. But not because I wanted to, but because I knew if I didn't, I never would. I wanted to be near my community, but going back also reminded me just how many things have changed. Physically, the shooting changed nearly every part of my life. I lost the use of my left arm. For a year, I could not cut my own food, and I had to rely on other people to help me. I lost the ability to play my flute, and I couldn't participate in marching band, which is one of my favorite things to do. I was in physical pain because my nerves were trying to heal, and I could not do the things I loved, like crocheting or playing video games. I remember sitting in my living room and crying because I was so frustrated, angry, and sad that the things I loved had been ripped away from me. The shooting was like an earthquake. My entire world was moved and rocked, and when it finished, nothing was in the same place it started. The strange thing is that for most people, the world kept going. There was no earthquake, and I think back to the day and become angry knowing my life was permanently changed by the decisions of one person. The shooting has affected how I look at my future. I'm limited in what jobs I can apply for because I do not have full use of my hand. I worry about what my life will be like years from now and whether it will ever feel normal. I think about the people who did not get to go on living. I think about Mason and Christian and their families. Their mothers both have 4 children, and now they only get to hug 3. They only get to talk to 3. I knew both boys since elementary school. I never expected them to not be here. Every day since the shooting, I've thought about what I would say to him. Every day I thought about if I had more time to speak to him on that day of the shooting, what would I have said? So I'd like to be able to do that now. I hate you and I'm mad at you because you had options. You had other options besides going in and killing a bunch of innocent people that did absolutely nothing to you. If you had waited maybe even 2 months, you would have found friends. I would have been your friend, and I know a bunch more people would have if you had just waited. I think you're entitled for doing the things that you have done, and I hope that every single day you think about the other options you could have had. I hope that 10 years from now you think, hey, I did this thing, that was so stupid. And I hope that you realize something that you did when you were 14 is going to impact you for the rest of your life, when you could have gone on and lived a good life. The shooting took much more than the use of my hand. It took my sense of safety, my independence, my trust, and a part of the person I used to be. While I survived, I carry the impact of that day with me for the rest of my life. It only seems fair that every innocent person that has had to feel the impact of Colt Gray's choices for the rest of our lives, then he should receive the maximum sentence for his crimes. Thank you. Have a great day.
No, you're on.
Yeah. Okay.
I'm going to make the word that it's a little hard. Your Honor, next we have Nautica Walton. All right, go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
Yes.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the court.
Hi, my name is Nautica Walton.
And you can go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know in regards to the sentencing of Colt Gray.
The past couple of years since September 4th have been the hardest years of my life. About once a week, I find myself thinking about what would it feel like to be normal again. I think about my freshman year, but not with happiness, with anger, confusion, and sadness. For a long time, I was angry at the world because of what you chose to do. At some point, I became afraid of everything. I hated the dark because it reminded me of when the lights went out and all we saw was emergency lights. I hated sitting faced away from the door. I hate the thought of walking to second period by myself. Over time, the fear turned into something even worse. I started to hate myself because I couldn't truly live anymore. I felt guilty because I let you take every piece of joy I had away from me. I let you steal my happiness, not only from me, but the people that love me and my friends. I hate everything about you. I hate the scars you left on my body. I hate that you took innocent lives in front of innocent people. Most of all, I hate that I let you live in my mind rent-free. Every time I closed my eyes, all I could hear was screams and cries. But after a while, something changed. It slowly turned into courage. Even though I'm scared to stand here today and speak in front of the courtroom, I refuse to let you win this time. I refuse to let you see me the way you saw me September 4th. I refuse to let you believe that you have control over me or control over my classmates. Most of the hate's gone, but all the scars are still there, all the triggers are there, all the emotions are still there. Those things are never completely going to disappear. You took away the innocence of so many kids in that classroom that day just because of what you were going through. That's something that we will never get back. What you cannot take away from me is the person I am choosing to become. I'm still here, I'm healing, and I'm finding my strength again. Every day that I continue to move forward, I'm showing you that you did not destroy me. You changed my life forever, but you will not define the rest of it.
Thank you. Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Thank you.
Your Honor, next we're going to call Hayden Brown to give her victim impact statement. Hayden Bowen. Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Okay. Go ahead and introduce yourself to the court.
Good morning, I'm Hayden Bowen.
Okay. And go ahead and tell the court what you would like him to know about the sentencing of Colt Gray. It's okay. He's not ready for you. Okay.
First, I want to start off by saying that I forgive you.
Hey, can I get you to speak up a little?
You need to address the court.
I want to start off by saying that I forgive you. Not for you, but for me and my peace. What you went through at the hands of your parents was not okay, and I don't wish that on anyone. But it does not excuse what you did. It was not right. It completely changed my life. It disrupted not only me, but my family and our lives. My family is often anxious about me and constantly checking up on me because of how much it affected my life. I now live with fear lurking behind me everywhere I go. Everywhere. I have frequent panic attacks. I can't stay in places for too long. I can't go out anywhere. I can't even stay in my own bedroom without feeling fear. I'm not able to be a normal teenager anymore. Before all of this, my biggest concern was who's going to walk me to class. But now I can't go a second without having to think whether or not I'm going to be safe while trying to learn. Of course, I'm so angry. But I know my God, and evil never wins.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
Our next victim impact statement is from Ariana Norman. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth to help you God?
I do.
Go ahead and introduce yourself to the court.
Your Honor, my name is Ariana Norman.
And you can go ahead and tell him what you would like him to know about the sentencing hearing for Colt Gray.
Your Honor, thank you for the opportunity to be able to speak today and share how September 4th has impacted me. My name is Ariana Norman, and I'm giving this statement regarding Colt Gray. September 4th is a day I will never look at the same again. It was a day where many people experienced chaos, high anxiety, and tragedy. September 4th was a day I should never have had to witness, and it has affected me and the Barrow County community deeply. This shooting has deeply affected my mental health. Since the September 4th shooting, I have been prescribed medication for anxiety because of my constant worry that something bad would happen again. I would often, after the shooting, wake up from nightmares and have to get help just to go back to sleep. Sometimes even just walking around my neighborhood months after the shooting, I found myself feeling like passing cars would harm me. Because of this, I no longer feel safe in my halls, which makes it hard to learn because I feel like I'm constantly looking over my shoulder, just waiting for something bad to happen. And any sort of loud noise always alerts me because I feel like something bad is going to happen. For example, I don't hear fireworks the same again because to me, they sound like gunshots. And when it's far away, it can be hard to tell the difference, which always gives me anxiety. And now I feel the need to identify an escape route everywhere I go because I get scared that I'm going to be trapped like I was on September 4th. The people at Apalachee could have been friends with Colt, but he decided to take a different route. And for this, he deserves whatever punishment he is giving. Thank you for listening.
Any questions?
No, Your Honor.
So next, Ms. Alex Daniel from our office is going to read some victim impact statements that were written.
So, Judge, I believe I have two written statements. The first is from Michaela Brown. She was one of the students that was in the classroom that day. Her statement says, "The Apalachee High School shooting on September 4th, 2025 was a tragic and terrifying event that has affected not only the people directly involved, but also students everywhere. Knowing that something like this can happen at a school makes me feel very unsafe and anxious. Since being involved with the shooting, I've felt scared to even go in the dark to take my dogs out to use the bathroom. Loud noises like doors slamming hard make me jump because they remind me what could happen. It's hard to feel relaxed or normal when things like that are always in the back of my mind. I also get nervous being home alone because I'm thinking someone's going to break in and hurt me. I don't feel as safe as I used to before. I used to think Apalachee was going to be a safe place for me to learn and graduate and make new friends, but now I just go to school thinking I'm not safe here. This situation shows how deeply events like this can impact students mentally and emotionally. It's not just something that happens and goes away, it stays with people. Schools are supposed to be safe places, and when that safety is broken, it changes how we feel every day." And Judge, the second statement is on behalf of Jackson Beaver, who was one of the individuals, one of the children that was injured in the classroom. It was prepared on behalf of him and his family, I believe prepared by his mother, Sarah Beaver. It says, "Your Honor, I have struggled to find the words for today because there are no words that can fully explain what September 4th, 2024 took from so many people. I stand before you as the mother of a child who survived that day, but surviving is not the same as being untouched by it. As I prepared this statement, I found myself wrestling with emotions I never imagined I could hold at the same time. Part of me looks at the defendant and sees a 14-year-old boy. I see a child who somewhere along the way was failed by the very people and systems that were supposed to protect him. I see a child who deserved safety, love, guidance, and intervention long before violence became part of his story. I grieve for the innocence that was stolen from him before he ever walked into Apalachee High School. But another part of me sees the person who made a choice that forever changed hundreds of lives. I hate that he lost his childhood, but I hate even more that he believed it was his place to steal the childhoods of the others. He didn't just take lives. He took futures. He took peace. He took the feeling every parent has when they watch their child walk into school, believing that they will come home that afternoon. Today, I want this court to remember the names of the people whose lives were forever changed. Mason, Christian, Richard, Christina. They were not victims on a page. They were sons, daughters, teachers, friends, classmates, and loved ones. They should be remembered for the lives they lived, not simply for the ways they died. I also want this court to remember Natalie, Melanie, Taylor, Jackson, and every other student and teacher who survived physically, but continue to carry invisible wounds. Remember the ones who have scars that they see every day and have flashbacks to the horror that they endured. Some injuries heal, others become part of you forever. The weapon used to cause all this destruction didn't just pierce Jackson's skin, it stayed there. 8 to 9 pieces of metal are permanently embedded in his thigh. He is forced to carry the literal weight of a mass shooting inside his own flesh every single day. The defendant's childhood may explain how we arrived here, but it does not excuse where we ended up. Because while he may have been failed by adults, he became the reason innocent children lost their sense of safety forever. Parents like me now understand what it feels like to wait for a phone call that may never come. Children now know what gunfire sounds like inside their school. Families now live with empty chairs, unanswered questions, nightmares, anniversaries, and grief that will never fully disappear. There is another loss that is harder to describe. Before September 4th, 2024, I believed schools were safe places. I believed that if I hugged my child goodbye in the morning, I would see him that afternoon. I believed tragedies like this happened somewhere else, and that version of me no longer exists. The defendant did not only change the lives of the people inside the walls that day, he changed every parent who sent a child to school afterward, wondering if today would be the day their world falls apart. I have compassion for the child he once was. I have compassion for the life he should have had. But my compassion cannot outweigh the devastation left behind by the choices he made. Two things can be true at the same time. He was a child who was failed. He was also the person who failed countless innocent children and their families. And one tragedy does not erase another. Nothing this court does today can bring back Mason, Christian, Richard, or Christina. Nothing can erase the trauma carried by Natalie, Melanie, Taylor, Jackson, the other survivors, their families, or this community. Justice cannot change the past, but it can acknowledge the weight of what was taken. I ask this court to remember every name, every family, every empty seat, every scar that cannot be seen, and every life that will forever be measured as before September 4th, 2024, and after September 4th of 2024. That is the true impact of what happened. Thank you.
And Your Honor, that concludes our victim impact at this time. We would like to take a short break before we begin presentation of further evidence.
All right. So, ladies and gentlemen, my understanding is we're going to move on to additional witnesses.
Go ahead and raise your right hand. Do you swear to tell the truth, the whole truth, and nothing but the truth, so help you God? Go ahead and introduce yourself to the court.
I'm Jessica Rayberg.
And tell the court what you like to know in the sentencing of Mr. Colt Gray.
Thank you, Your Honor. Again, my name is Jessica Rayberg, and I have served as an administrator for Barrow County Schools for 7 years, specifically the principal of Apalachee High School since 2023. Apalachee High School is also where I taught English for 12 years, and before September 4th, 2024, I can attest to approximately 2,463 days that joy filled that building. On the dawn of its 25th year as an institution of learning and opportunity, it became a place of horror and loss. This morning, the staff of Apalachee met for the first time to open up the 2026-27 school year, and I should be with my teachers helping them prepare right now. We should be finalizing standard procedures, tweaking student schedules, and decorating classrooms, all while sharing summer stories. But we will also spend many additional hours becoming experts in new duties far beyond our original academic training. Many walk in under a dark cloud and dread any reminders of that terrifying day. So we will meet to prepare trauma-informed instruction and tirelessly learn how to rebuild a learning environment where half the current student body cowered in fear during their second period just shy of 2 years ago. The loss of 4 lives is more devastating and more important than anything else experienced on September 4th. The families of 4 incredibly special people have endured the unthinkable, and we remember them and grieve with them every single day. The cruel actions of Colt Gray caused the loss of precious lives, and for that, he deserves the harshest consequences. The 7 physically injured, some of whom have courageously spoken today, are incredible humans who have scars both external and internal that should not exist. We admire their bravery and resilience, and for the turmoil and pain caused by Colt Gray, he deserves the harshest consequences. What also must be addressed today are the mental and emotional burdens and anguish that thousands of students, staff, and families of the Apalachee community will carry for the rest of their lives, some of which may never fully heal. The trauma thrust on this once rural hometown is unnatural. The reckless and selfish choices of Colt Gray deserve the harshest consequences. There is no measurement for the deaths and physical impact caused by his calculated decisions, and the overall impact, both visible and invisible, of the September 4th tragedy stretches to countless victims. There were nearly 1,900 students and 200 staff members making up this remarkable community in 2024. There were 20 schools and programs in the Barrow County school system who locked down for hours, fearing the unknown and the worst. There were surrounding school districts, counties hundreds of miles away, and an entire state of Georgia. All were impacted directly or indirectly by the deranged behavior of one teenage intruder. The act destroyed a learning community that will take years to reconstruct, if even possible, and who knows what could have been without the time, energy, new personnel, and resources expended daily just to make it possible for students and faculty to be able to teach and learn. Schools should be a safe environment for young people to grow and experience joy. In less than a minute, he took a basic human right from thousands of innocent students, and he turned staff members into impromptu paramedics and caregivers. He destroyed what once felt like the most safe and secure place. He stole the ability to focus and not zone out. He turned conversations about where should we eat after the football game into is it even safe enough to be on that campus at all. He ripped a community of its pride. Now a balloon pop is triggering. An accidental lockdown sends hundreds running, absolutely scared of death. Procedures drastically change across an entire state. Small children are screened for weapons before running to hug their favorite teachers and starting their reading and math lessons. When a light flickers, panic sets in. Loud noises and unknowns cause paranoia. One moment can ruin essential academic lessons for the rest of the day. Entire family traditions and holidays are put on hold. Couples divorce. Others need new medication just to stay calm enough to attempt to work or care for their own children. Events are missed, loneliness creeps in because no one understands, and friendships fade because humans become shells. The students of Apalachee High School had to grow up and mature in a single inhumane instant. Some threw desks to block doors, others applied pressure to wounds. Later, all but 2 evacuated with their hands above their heads, while 6 left on stretchers, and the survivors learned immediately how to console each other. They then experienced grief, faced deep fears, and became resilient. Still, on any good days, there is a heaviness, a weight that is carried daily, and every decision is made through the lens of trauma and recovery. An attempt at the new normal is exhausting, and for some it has been too hard to endure. Many have changed their entire surroundings, lifestyles, or careers just to keep going. A facility was built as direct support, and a facility sits unused to avoid trauma. The ripple effects we felt for generations, and all because a stranger among us took what did not belong to him. As my staff and students soon prepare for the 2-year mark, we will persevere through safety drills, new bell schedules, and uncertainty. We will continue to rebuild. The work is ongoing and never finished. We will pour into our students, comfort them, and create experiences that we hope bring some joy. But it will never be the same. He's a thief, and more than that, he is also a murderer. The most important pieces he stole from our community are Coach Aspinwall, Ms. Irmy, Mason, and Christian. We are not whole without them, and we will always honor them in everything we do, while grieving for their families and what they would have continued to contribute to our school and many other lives. We have more to teach them and more to learn from them. They had more memories to make with their precious families and more days to make our world brighter. We carry their legacy forward daily, even through dark times, and I ask their murderer be placed where he may feel the depths of what he's done.
Thank you. Do you have any questions, Mr. Allen?
No, Your Honor.